I have a few things I'm needing to do before we jump into this. I want to give a quick shout out to you all again, real quick. For all the likes, the comments, the shares, oh my god, the subscribes, the donations, you know, energetically, financially. I appreciate both of them. I appreciate everything y'all do so much. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna just talk about remembering who you are. Um, just and I guess why we have to remember who we are, and trying to remember who you are is something that it's best not um, helped with, because it does connect you more, but just like giving giving guidelines to finding out who you are for those that like are on the journey of self discovery still. I just felt the need to talk about that a lot recently. Um and like it's really important just to remember who you are, because in in the world the way it is, and just like how life is spiritually, there's so much like potential energy that ends up getting ignored or overlooked day by day by like loads of people, um due to them not knowing who they are. um and it's less about agreeing with what someone tells you that's who you are, and more of really understanding that's who you are. um and it's not something done instantly. It's something that takes a while to really change. It takes a lot of interpersonal digging, under like switching of a foundation, that you've built a lot of thoughts, a lot of um like you've built this energy with these words. And I really want to talk about words as well. Like I just so much there's so much to talk about. But again, like we'll just tie into it then real quick, because that's what I'm feeling like led to do. So with like words and stuff, that's why I'm always talking about like being careful with the words you use, um, and using like the correct words and the etymology of words and all these things, because words are spells. And when we describe things, and when we use words to um I get it's like to label things and just use words, and like how we do, we we don't we don't pay attention to what we're actually doing anymore. And like a really fun, like not fun, but a really like interesting thing you can do is like when you end up spelling words like over and over again, you'll hear um it sounds like words um within the enunciations of whatever you're spelling out. And that's why it's called spelling. Whenever you hear it, you'll hear like how in movies how they'll use how spells and stuff, and how they'll cast them. You hear that whenever you like um it's like spelling cats over and over again, like cats, like that right there. That whenever it starts forming into a word and you hear it, that's why it's spelling. Like there's layers to the word that like you're saying. It's been casted down through. It has its own, its own enunciation, the way you pronounce words, the way you pronounce anything, the syllables, all these like things we're taught are like ways to make spells, to make things more and or less effective and powerful. When just speaking about things in general or doing things in practitioner work, but regardless, being very aware of that. Um, and even if you do understand that you are like a god or a goddess, there needs to be an embodiment. It's like when we remember who we are and the power that that has when that's given back to you. Um, there's always just like a need to really be in reflection, to sit back and really acknowledge what that means about what you're saying, because we say the word God, we say the word power, we say all these things so much and with so much connotation to them, that when we hear certain words, we end up stripping things away from it. It's, oh yeah, I'm this, but I don't do that. I don't do this, and I don't do that. But no one said, or those things aren't tied with the actual etymology with that word. It's things that you've attached to it. So then again, like just like rewiring yourself, and when it comes to that, knowing who you are, you end up needing you almost end up needing to like use that understanding to unwire yourself even more. um and not in the sense to like space out, but in the need to in the sense of like allowing yourself to detach from what's been built around you and seeing things from your own eyes, you know what I mean? um and that's something that a lot of us, we feel like we see things from our own eyes, but it's based off of a thinking pattern that's been ingrained, where we choose the better side, and then we're told to act certain ways and put and do certain things in certain areas, and that has nothing to do with anything in the regard of like being part of a collective of sorts, or like being like a chosen one, which again I don't agree with that terminology. Like that's like, I don't know. It's that's like a spiritual ego thing, because we're all chosen. We wouldn't be here if we weren't all chosen. So just saying that you're a chosen one shows that there's like an egoic purpose behind it. Um, and that's the I gotta know. There's like I want to get more like concise with this and like break it down and like have sections for this, but I can't sit down long enough to do that. But we do need to talk about something that has been on my mind. I was talking with my friend last night with it about this as well, and just like being careful of some of these spiritual leaders that's popping up. You know what I mean? Um, we're not here for violence. You know, like, and it's like when when you look at certain spiritual leaders, I'm not gonna name any, but they rule with this anger, and it's like it's passion, but they mix violence into the mix, or they'll talk about like needing to like kill or something, like this. I'm trying to just like, I'm not trying to beat around the bush, but at the same time, it's just like a very weird subject to like touch on. But being careful of people who are like in that energy, because though they may be giving valued information, they are going from a state of um like an emotional energy where they're like holding on to past traumas. Um, and again, it's like there's like not to judge or anything as well, but just being more noticeable of where you're sending your energy, who you're allowing in your energy, and it's not like we're here to make mistakes. We're here. We're not. We're as pure as we can be on this realm. So even if you do end up like indulging in things, it doesn't matter. Don't like put it against yourself, but always like there's like a need to be more aware of like where your energy's going because you know who you are. And it's because these like positions that are going to be put into not only like on the physical but in spiritual presences we're gonna have a lot more power, a lot more like dictatorship of what to do because there's a whole transit that's happening. There's ones that are being taught a lot right now in quick percent and like very quick like rapidly taught. um and those are the leaders that are coming into play, either like well known, like either gonna be like well known mystics in communities that are gonna be leading, or like you just doing your own thing on your own platforms, or however you're doing these things and like helping others and helping them grow and connect to themselves more and connect to the cosmos more. It's something about your ranking and that is getting more weird. It's more of like you're no longer you're not the fighter anymore in the war. You're the supplier. Is what I'm trying to put out. What I'm trying to like say, especially if you've been in this heavy combat. You're no longer like in this combat anymore. In this war that needs to fight. You're in this energy of being able to sit back and relax. Um, which is why like you've been learning so much as well because you've done enough self reflection on like what you've gone through, but it's almost like now you have this new gap. Well, I don't want to call it gap. This new void, I guess, or hole inside of you that needs to be plenished up and healed, and you're nurturing yourself with knowledge and this higher wisdom, or just like this isn't even to be like anything like knowledge of spiritualism. It could just be like a knowledge of learning how to like crochet or something, like whatever new knowledge you're getting, whatever like I'm finding out that I'm really enjoying these things, or I'm finding out that I like this, or I've been learning this, or I've been going back and doing these old things, these new hobbies, these old hobbies, however, these things that you're going back to, not in this sense to distract or to get away from something or to procrastinate, but to help transmute and to help like settle back into not settle back into the matrix, but settle back into the atmosphere around. Because it's like we're getting back to base with on Earth because we're about to take this big like launch off. I've been like, because again, it's something about the 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 moons coming out. It's something about those moons and like the triangulations with them. Um, because I've been like having crazy downloads of just like chakra blockages. There's a throat chakra, a heart chakra, uh I said a heart, a root, and a throat chakra blockage that's going on in the collective, and that's the big issue. That's like what's holding back a larger piece, allowing a lot more energy to go through. And it feels like it's more of not taking action on what you, it's like you saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this," and not taking action on that. There's a need to look at that and see why you're not completing the actions that you say that you're gonna complete. Is it because you're not wanting to do that type of thing anymore? Is it because you need a break? Is it because you say it as like a default thing and it's like a pattern that you're trying to break? Like, hey, it's really like trying to shine. It's giving me just like Mercury retrograde energy still like heavy. It's like it's trying to shine a light on a subconscious habit because we're taught from our subconscious. Our subconscious holds everything. It like it holds all of the things. That's where the thought consciousness goes to grab information, to grab like memories, to grab whatever um intel it needs to be able to like relay it to the rest of the body, or relate it to itself. Um and again, like not being materialistic with spirituality, and that's meaning like not doing something spiritual strictly for like an external purpose, or keep looking for some sort of external, like like an external gratification, like not looking for a heaven outside of you when the heaven is within, not looking for, it's like there there's a like a self-empowerment that needs to be happening almost, and realizing that there's not like that it's like you haven't even noticed how much you've actually done good for yourself. You keep seeing things as bad, which is making you feel like you're not able to do things as well as you want to. It's a lot of, oh, well, I manifested myself out of the situation, but now I'm stuck here, and this place isn't fun. I don't like being here. And it's like that attitude right there that's telling the universe, oh, it's not even telling the universe, it's telling the cosmos, excuse me, it's telling yourself that you're not happy with the benefit of your gift, of your power. And it's like, well, damn, like, well, we're no longer there, we're in this new calm stagnant, different energy. What's going on? Why is it like, like, why is over here not good? And you start naming like, well, I hate this and I don't like that, and it's like, well, I don't know how those things got there, and I don't know why those things don't like why you don't like these things. It's like you've manifested yourself out of a situation that really bothered you, but like just the way that you did it almost made you disappointed, or made you feel like the divine was like not trying to help you or working with you at the time. But like there either has been a realization or there needs to be, take it as it resonates, that this stalling era, where you just kind of been stuck and stagnant, or feeling like things have been repeating, or just like in this reflective energy, there's like you're seeing just how like what you actually did, and it's like, and it feels like there's like an ego attached to it, because it's like, well, this this one isn't as good as the last one I did, type energy, like the last time you manifested yourself out of a situation, it wasn't as good as it was this time. And it's like that comparison's there, but the divine wants you to know is the reason why it wasn't what you wanted last time is because that was the first time you actually stepping into these energies, into these gifts, and just of how well you were receptive of them. The fact that you did these things so quickly but had unhealed parts, the divine was like, yeah, we'll let you manifest these things, but these attachments that you're leaving are gonna follow you. That's why it was so quick and easy. Like, yeah, you're gonna have this new start, but these attachments get to follow with you. So there's no need for, like, extra protection. There's no need for all these things that the divine would do, or like have, um however you want to think about it. There wouldn't be a need for like an extra like add-on or like a subtraction for things, because you wouldn't, like, because the healing. And it's not to say like you're waiting on the divine or the divine's waiting on you for anything. It's more of just like you need to take this time to actualize and see. And it's not like studying your past and putting yourself back in a panicked energy to manifest. Don't think of it like that either. But it's a time to like understand like everything that you've done in this life so far has been manifested from you, and not looking at it as a bias of, oh, well, this is good and that's a bad, but seeing the power of your voice, of your thoughts, seeing the power of you, and how have you've done it. And despite you feeling like you haven't done it, and it's because of like you, this is how you feel, the external viewpoints or external like events happening, but you're not really seeing that you are making it. um there's like a comparison that needs to stop happening. um and I'm hearing some of you have like had a recent dip in like a grace period, where you've had like a while where things have been just like really like I want to say normal almost, where it's been really good, but there's been a slight dip, and it wasn't anything bad, but it was like a reality check, and it was like, hey, this is where you used to be, this is where you are now, like, do you see the difference? And it wasn't to like startle you, and it might have startled you, but it was there to it was happening to show you like, hey, um you're doing a lot more than you think. It's like you're not seeing, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like you used to think, you used to have like a really like rambunctious mind or something, and it's not as rambunctious anymore. But you don't notice it because you're so used to it doing crazy shit in the background that you've like learned to tune it out. So it's not like you don't notice the difference, but it's like when you come to, you notice that there's no thoughts running anymore. It's just you there. It's like, oh shit, like there's nothing going on anymore. Like, why am I not overthinking about what I'm doing anymore? Like those things like that nature that you're starting to realize, or like needing to start to realize. But it's just like you're evolving, and that's why you've been in this stagnation period. The cosmos are working with you. The cosmos never work against you. They just have very strict laws, like this, the planets, the moon, the sun. They have strict laws they have to abide by, and it's like we have to go by them. So it's not like you're being punished or anything. It really is just to show you like how much you've grown, and almost to give you that break that you've been wanting, but you're only panicking because it's been easier than normal. So now you don't need a break because you can handle this, whenever you shouldn't be handling anything that causes you stress. Like, that's just not like a normal. Like, stress should only come from being like in a threatening situation, and we shouldn't be in a threatening situation. Like, there's not a real necessary need for a threatening situation ever. But we've made it to where, um, we've made it to where we have made it a threatening situation. Um, and it's just like, I forgot what verse it is, but in the Bible it says, God made all good and evil, and it's just, the same power that we could be using to help benefit this planet we're using to not just kill the planet and kill the inhabitants of the planet. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Yet it would be misuse of the power. By divine law, it would be misuse of the power. But with free will, it's like misuse of power by choice. So it's not really. Yeah, it's difficult. It's one of those things that like people aren't aware of. People are so worried about claiming things as good and bad, and it's not allowing everyone to see the bigger picture, because everyone has this picture of like what it's like to be on this side or that side, and they're not like seeing everything like as a big whole thing, which is it's keeping like a lot of real messages from getting out. It's keeping a lot of like spiritual ego running. It's keeping a lot of like karmic loops to happen. Like I don't get it. I don't. I really don't. Cuz I've been really talking to my guides about it. It's like I don't, like I understand the need for like karmic readers, but like at the same time, why, you know? Like it doesn't seem like spiritual work if you're stalking someone for someone. Like that's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. And it's not like you're trying to stalk them. They're like they're in your energy, but at the same time there's so much more to a person and their energy than this this existence of an ex or someone in the energy. You know, like those things are very present, but there's so much more to focus on. And it's not to say to get rid of them, but it's like why has there been such a big focus on that? And like I don't know. Like I don't know. I question everything, and I don't question it in the sense of like to frame it. I just question it because it's like what the fuck. I don't know. I'm just confused. Like we're here to heal, but like it seems like everyone kind of gets upset while doing readings because they're talking about these people that are like going crazy. And I feel like it's just like part of the plan or something at this point, because it's like how much time of the actual message is spent like talking about something new, like you know what I mean? Or how far into the video do you have to go until it like sounds like something different? Like there's like a need to really, it's not, you know, you have to like understand, like I understand that like you tarot's like the same story told a million different ways. It's the same energy told like 1,000 different ways, of course, but like I don't know, everything is so weird in this like spiritual like facade that we're kind of in, where everyone's like, yeah, everything is me and I am everything, but I'm gonna like point my fingers out at everything else. It's like I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me. You know what I mean, though. I hope I'm making sense of it, because I'm not trying to like say anything or start anything. I'm just observing what I'm seeing, and as someone who's like doing this and like being a reader, it's like there are things that like readers talk about not doing, and then they'll be doing them while doing the reading, and it's like one of those things where it's like, why are you even talking about not doing it if you're gonna do it anyway? Like that's just like, huh? I don't know. And then it's like I don't like this energy. Then why are you reading about it still? It's not, and it's not to say the divine's making you like. There's always a new way of doing things. The divine will always like switch things up for you to make things more like make it easier on you, make it more like digestible for you to do. Like they're not gonna force you and like be like, no, you have to do this. Like no, it's like they're it's the divine we're talking about. It's the God. It's the unknown, the mystic factor of life. Like why would it's not trying to come at us and like hurt us. It's trying to nurture us and get us to learn and to heal and to see the truths of the matters and to really get a deeper and wider, a grander understanding of really who it is and like what it's doing and like what to do. I mean, like, shit. And that's like what we do every day. We wake up, we try to figure out the same shit the universe is trying to figure out about itself. Like, oh, what do I do? Like, why am I going to this place? Why am I like all these things that you question? The universe needs to question itself, and like it needs to find an answer. And you know, how do you get an answer without having experience? It's all these things, experiencing all these other things to get information. Anyway, we're gonna go off on that tangent for too long because I will. Um, it's just like there's so much more to spirituality, and a lot of people are afraid to get into it because the first like major gate is is just talking about the warfare. And it's not like a bad thing because you need to be aware of this shit before you jump in, before you like, because it's not, spirituality is not like a gateway to anything. Spirituality is just simply getting back to who you are, and that's going to involve being under attacks regardless of how you label them. So it's important to get people to know, but like so many people feel like spirituality is like bad, and we all get like the same like, oh, magic's bad and you're evil for doing this and that, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't know. And it's just all these weird things, and it's like, I don't know. It's like, are we as spiritual people still not ready ourselves to fully um like be transparent with ourselves and like see the ironic truth behind a lot of things that happen? Because it's like, I don't know, there's so much that like repeats on a day to day. And it's not to say that repetition's bad, but it's like you the ignorance is bliss statement, it really pops in my head a lot on my journey. Just like because I always get really deep, and I always think really deep, and then I get like, I'll end up thinking about it too much, and I just remember like ignorance is bliss, and it's just like, it's one of those things where a lot of people know how deep it goes, but they also like, they just learn more about what they have, which is fine, but there's a lot of truth about spirituality that's been hidden. And it's not to say you're like, I don't know, like I don't know why I even need to say this, but like I'm not trying to say like you're being spiritual wrong or whatever. I don't know, like I don't, that's a weird projection coming through. I don't know where that one even came from, but it's like um just really understanding what spirituality is, and through that takes a greater understanding of who you are and your words and how energy works and all these things like time and matter, and understanding that these building blocks that are in front of us are just tools that we're unfamiliar with. We're seeing these tools as from like a one-way angle. We're like ants compared to it, you know? Like we can't see how to use all the tools we're missing one of the main components of our machine that we can't see because we have to be able to feel it. That's the only way we're gonna be able to do it. It's like an ant. Like it's not gonna be able to know anything. It's gonna maybe be able to feel the vibrations on the ground to something that comes towards it, or you know what I mean, or like a shadow or something. But um, just understanding that as well. Um, so that we're able to not only break these curses off of us. I don't know, cuz I feel cuz it's weird. I don't know why we have this weird look at our ancestors like they were like stupid or something. You know what I mean? And it's not saying like we as in like us. I'm saying we as in just like a collective race. People just think like the ancestors were like stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone thinks the ancestors, they think like of a monkey immediately, and it's weird that they make you think that. It's weird that they make you think that those are your ancestors. It's like that's what they correlate ancestors with. They don't correlate your ancestors with like your grandma or like your family. They say it's a monkey, and that's weird. Like why would you say that? Like why are you trying to? Why are you like that's a little weird. That's a little bit too much on the nose for me. But like a lot of people don't even like. That's why like a lot of people are into spirituality. It's like all these things. Like oh, why would I like worship like these people that like well these monkey people or whatever you want to call them. I don't even like care about that whole like weird like evolution spillage. It's just one of those things where like people look at the physical so much and they want answers for the physical, but they're not realizing that like everything hits a spiritual value. When you go so far into medicines, it becomes a spiritual thing. It roots back from the roots of everything being holistic and spiritual and whole and pure. Everything roots back from it. Um so getting in touch with yourself, it doesn't just mean the Egyptian side of you or the Celtic side of you, or like however far you're going back. It means going back to your native roots, and not like Native American Indian. We're talking about your seed. For some of you, the seed that you were the tree of the seed that you were born from. Like you have these abilities to be able to go back in time. Some of you like through photos and touching, or just like being able to meditate or astral project back into times, or like even do readings on this stuff. But there's really just a need to connect with who you are again, because and it's not to say that you haven't and you're not, but even if you are, know yourself even more, because there's like bits of you that are this it's just like there's a key that needs to be turned, but there's just something about yourself that you're not wanting to believe, or there's something about yourself that you're just now starting to fully believe, or it's just like something that you're researching you're not believing fully until now. It's just something that's about to break the shaky reality as it is. It's like I don't know, like there's just a need to really break that barrier, which is why it's important to remember who you are. Remembering as well always like the being like being really just I don't know. It's so important to be aware of who you are. Like they really throw everything at you from like a youth to make you focus on everything else other than who you are, and it's just awful. Because when you start focusing on who you are, you're like then you're exiled and mocked for some reason. Like that's just like a weird a chemical reaction that's been literally breeded into people to react that way. It's like, oh, you're focusing, you're trying to find yourself. Haha, you're so funny. Like, what do you mean that's so funny? Do you know who you are? Like, you're here. You're going to leave this planet and not know the thing that you have been with the entire time. You're just going to ignore this. You can't, like, you ignore yourself your whole life, and then you wonder why your dreams weren't really fulfilled. And it's not to say that, like, on like some sort of like materialistic standpoint. I'm talking about on the soul level. And you don't know yourself. You can't fulfill your soul if you don't know it. You don't know your soul. You are your soul. You don't know yourself. You forgot who you are. So you had to experience who you are through this. And you experience that off of first of like things you don't like about yourself. These things to say, oh my, I don't like the way my nose is, or I don't like this, I don't like that. Shows you who you used to be. And you break those patterns down. You break them down. You digest them. And then you, as you do that, you gain new parts of yourself, from like the way your parents are, the way your friends are, your neighborhood, where you're at. All these things, like, they matter. It's all just a matter of like getting this information and experiencing things in different like matters and different shapes and forms. So really, just like once you really, and I'm not, again, like, I know some of y'all know who you are. But again, like, still, like, there's like digging that's always can be done. Um, remember, just like detaching. Um, you don't have to. It's not one of those things, but it's like, are you, like, the whole part of this journey is an experience. So if you're not willing to let go and experience, why, like, are you really on the journey anymore? You can't be supporting, or I mean worshiping two at the same time. It's it's one of those, it's like one of those energies that you really have to keep true to yourself. Is remembering that, like, you can't, like, the only reason you can't choose both is because there's no difference between the two. Like, they are both one and the same. um they've only been construed or like split up because we make it that way. And a lot of like people will teach, like, oh yeah, there's like the good and the bad, we need the good and the bad. But like, what do you mean? Like, there's no difference between the good and the bad. It's the same thing. It comes from the same source. The only difference is that we are able to recognize it. We're at such of a low vibration on this realm that we realize these things. And it's like, we don't realize that either. We want to, I don't know, we want to classify how good we are by how many things we classify as bad. You know what I mean? And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? You you really have to sit back and see the way that the system has you in these loops of like, oh, I know who I am, but I'm still held back because XYZ. And again, it's not nothing to like stress out over, of course not. But it's something that you like, us as a collective, we're becoming more aware of. Um and in this season, in these next, like, I heard, like, 3 to 4 months, these next 3 to 4 months is going to be very, very, very focused on you and leveling up yourself and the divine working hand in hand with you. It's like quick response. It's like a back and forth, very quick response energy. And it's because of like all this energy that you've had inside yourself, all this good that you've allowed yourself to feel, the cosmos are giving back to you. It's something. It's like this portal. It's something about October or November that's been very significant as well. Like October 13th, I'm hearing, or like November 13th or 19th for October's. But it's something about, oh my god, I don't know. It's like, you really have to remember that patience is a virtue. And the first lesson about patience is just remembering that there is no time. And in this sense of like you hearing that something is going to come to you in like a further date, that might send off like, oh, that kind of sucks for some people. And it's to show you that you are dependent on something needing to happen now. And it's not to tell you to like, quantum jump into your energy to where you can make it happen now. It's all about understanding that we split things up by days and months and hours and minutes to cause that stress, to cause the worry of, oh, it's never gonna happen, and oh, if it doesn't happen at this time, then how is it gonna ever happen? It causes this stress. It causes these blockages that we don't need. These blockages that we didn't have when working with the gods. We understood that when working with deities and gods, our ancestors understood. I mean, like there's a patience thing. It's like working with us. Why would like you can't there's more than one person that's gonna need your help. There's more than one person that know who you are and will call upon you. You can't be everywhere at once. You have to really do what you need to do. Like the gods need to rest. The gods do what they do just as we do, you know. And understanding that when working with the divine, that they also have their own things. Like there's charts you can even, I don't know. Well, I mean, you can look them up, yeah, for sure. It's just like kind of hard to find, but there's charts you can find that tell you, especially if you're working with angels, like the days, literally down to the hours of what angels like are like. You can call on certain angels at certain hours for like a more efficient work and more efficient responses and stuff. There's like whole sheets for this. It's a whole thing. It's all calculated out. It's all programmed on this thing. So just it's less of how much you do it and more of how you know how to do it. And there's like there's information you can find. There's just tapping into yourself and then doing it the way that you feel called with your ancestors. It doesn't matter how you're doing these things, but really getting into these connections and not being afraid of your own magic, because it's like you can't be afraid of magic anymore, and you can't be afraid of using it, and you can't be like, oh, I'm not magic, I don't use magic. You are magic. That's the whole point of remembering who you are. If you're afraid of magic, then you don't know who you are. You're not paying attention to yourself at that point, so you're not as up, like, I don't know, like, I'm just trying to pop these like spiritual egos, because you're not as high up as you think you are if you're not as accepting of things. And it's not to say that, oh, well, yada yada, whatever. Hold on. It's not to say like, well, you have to. Yeah, well, then since you're not accepting this, it's that. I'm not trying to lay down some sort of like indefinite rule. I'm just telling you what the divine expresses, the truth. Um, the thing that we all know deep down inside, the way it resonates with us, the way it makes us feel. These truths, these blunt things that we can't handle. These rules that we feel like are unfair, but yet we agreed not only to them, but also some of us were even making these laws and rules, these regulations of time, before these matters even happen. And it's one of those things where we have to sit back and really um remember that this is all about discipline. It's all about like patience and being honest with yourself and transparency. This whole realm's a mirror. Nothing here would exist unless you didn't perceive it. Like you wouldn't be perceiving me or your phone, or if you didn't have a desire for it to be a thing, if there wasn't a reason for it to exist, it wouldn't exist. That's literally how this realm works. That's really how you have to remember things. Like that's how like oh I we really need to have something like this, and then that just like months fly by or a year goes by or however long goes by, and then now that thing's an invention or a song or whatever. It's there. It's because it's cycled. What you think is someone else's thoughts. They don't hit you first, and they're not only just your thoughts. These thoughts are shared out to everyone. We receive them the same way, but we hear them and we translate them in different ways. That's the connection to light. Some of us are have clearer channels, so we're able to get more concise um, messages, or however, and others get tidbits of information. That's just how it is. And it's not saying any of them are like greater than or the others. It's just a sense of this internal blockage of like what's going on Earth that's causing all this negative energy. And it's shedding away. It's been shedding away a lot if you've been paying attention. Um, but it's caused a lot of internal self-doubt that's caused like woundings in the earth. It's caused a lot of like internal Gaia like Ki Kai however like woundings in her. um and this is just a need. This consciousness awareness, this higher consciousness awareness is more of a necessity for this for Mother Earth at this point. And it's not like to cause any like fear or anything. Again, it's just one of those things where like if you've been thinking about the past or even feeling these emotions, it's not like again because you've done anything bad. It's this job of being a healer. You're not just here to heal other people or heal other gods. We're here to heal the earth. We're healing Gaia. We're healing nature as it exists, as it is. By healing us, by healing ourselves, and really um experiencing the experience, almost like just experiencing the attention that we don't pay attention to like with ourselves. I don't know, I'm trying to find a way to explain it, but I keep like losing my connection. No, but there is just a heavy need to pay attention to like where your emotions are stemming from, and it's not like less of where in a memory form and more of where in like a body form. Does a part of your body hurt when you're thinking about certain emotions? And then allow that to show you what chakra. Because there's something about like because I know there's just like there is a Kundalini awakening, so there is a lot of chakra work that's being worked on again, just collectively. Um, I feel like people are going to be talking more about the crown chakra. I'm feeling like that's something that's going to happen as well, but it's or like that's just like going to be an overall increase of people talking about the crown chakra. But it's because of these like vibrational shifts that we're going through, all the cleansings, all the like the heat waves, all the solar flares. It's been a cleansing, it's been a clearing, it's been the phoenix, it's been this energy of getting rid of literally everything. Um Melting it down to the form of liquid, of back to just being at its base, and just I don't know, it's like there's so much I don't know how else to like, because there's something I'm trying to like connect to this, but I'm like not having a it's not easy to. I don't know if I'm even supposed to like But yeah, we're gonna talk about like more on spell work for a while, and like money spells, things of that nature. And it's not necessarily spell work that we can do, but spell work like done on us to like make us more aware of these things. And it's like they only exist, these attacks, these like spells that are done overall are only like they only happen to keep people distracted from the main purpose. It's like you can't ignore the fact of how everything has gotten, and it's like not looking, and again, it's not looking at it from like a bad point of view, but just looking at how everything's become more flashy and become more like materialistic. Everything has to be like grandeur or like shiny or like some like things have to be so like, oh wow, that looks cool. Like I don't know, like everything's like so sensory based, and it's really trying to keep you just the world shut down from like who you are. It's like it's weird because our ancestors knew that our senses, they get overwhelmed because we don't know how to use them, we don't know how to control them, we're unable to control like the illusion over what we like feel, touch, see, hear, all these things, that illusion that we have in the spells that we have over certain things of that nature. Like we need to learn how to control these things, and we kind of can't with all these like sensory devices everywhere. And our ancestors like, because again, like they didn't, I don't know, it's just really about getting back to yourself and taking more time to yourself. And again, it's just like maybe you just need to meditate more, maybe you need to go outside more, maybe you just need to like contemplate. It's just something about really getting back to your roots, to just doing what you really like. I don't know, like if, I feel like, I don't know, just getting up and dancing randomly. It's just about connecting with who you are. And it's not just knowing who you are in the sense of like spiritually, but getting to know who you are in this life, because we were caught up spiritually on this mission of needing to fight this war, but then we're also not even realizing that like a lot of the war would be solved on our part if we just took time to realize who we are, and we took time to realize like like this character that we are. Why is this character that I'm playing, why do these things agitate them? And it's not to fix them, to make them like non-existent, but just to understand like, oh, the character Bethany doesn't like this because this, it's connected to that. And it's not about like deleting that problem forever. I mean, that's like the big goal, but that understanding, that grasping of it will like, it just raises the vibration, it fixes the heart, it releases those small chains that you like bound yourself in, the small thoughts of, oh, I'll ignore this, or oh, I don't need to do that right now, or all these things. These chains that we break off of ourselves come from these smaller thoughts um that we like hold on to. We're digging deep enough, but it's like, are we getting the answer? It's not about how deep we can dig into yourself. It's not about how quick you can heal. It's about understanding the lesson and being honest with yourself. And if you're not understanding the lesson, just being like, I don't get it. Like, give me a sign for like what this is supposed to be. I just don't get it. Being honest with yourself overall, that's the biggest lesson of them all. Um, not just don't allow yourself to like box yourself in into this new energy that you're stepping into. Don't box yourself into it and then like feel bad about it, or like be like, oh, I can't live up to this, or be like, oh, I want to do this but I don't know how. Like, don't allow these energies of like unable or not knowing how to like appear without being questioned. Like, these are thoughts that we just let come to us, and it really limits like who we are. Like, oh, I want to do this, oh, but I don't know if I can do it. Why don't you know if you can do it? You said you wanted to do it. That means you have this solution of how you're gonna do it. You just need to find it, like find out how. You know how to do it. Why are you telling yourself immediately after that you don't know how to do it and then leaving it at that? Like, there's these energies of like, don't feel bad about it. Like, if you have like a list of things you want to do with your life, or things you want to go, or places you want to go to, or like vacations or whatever, like making lists of those things isn't, it's not a bad thing. Like, write them out. Never say that you can't do something, or like, oh, I don't know how this is going to happen. Just write them out or keep note of them, because it's something about accepting that, like, I don't know, it's like almost accepting that your brain is always gonna like reach out to all these ideas that you want to do something more, and it's because it's thriving for that, like that physical sensation, instead of going through the spiritual. Hey, let me just go ahead and do this. Um, but there's a lot, and it's, I don't know. There's like a weird wave. This is gonna go on. This is gonna be a thing that people are gonna go through for a while. I'm just getting a hint of it. I've been picking this up for a minute, and it just came like randomly back to me. I don't know why. But there's gonna be a lot of people say there's gonna be a lot of false prophets exposed here soon. And I've been saying this forever. It's you are going to see the downfall of a lot of spiritual people that you, not saying you as in you, I'm saying you as in whoever you is, whoever the you applies to. Don't think I'm like saying you as in you. um but people put these others on pedestals, and even if they don't like want to be put on that pedestal, you're giving them that energy. And there's a lot of people that like don't need that energy, because you got to remember it acts as a shield. But anyway, there's gonna be a lot of like spiritual like leaders exposed. Some people know who, like a few, like who's on the, I want to say who's on the list. I'm not here to give names. I don't listen. I'm not like someone that like drops names. That's not my part. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I'm signed up for. So I don't do that. But if you know, you know, and if you don't know, just keep your ears and eyes out, because it will be exposed. Um, but it's just like people. But here's another thing. A lot of some, not a lot, but some of them, I should say. Some of the ones that are being exposed, it's not because they're false. It's not because they're spreading lies. It's because their energy behind what they're doing is not needed. It's like, I don't like using political terms, but if I had to put one on it, it's extremist. I don't like talking politics. I could give a fuck less about that. That is a circus that is put on 24/7, 360 fucking 5, let me tell you. Anyway, but it's like these people that understandably have a lot of passion, but they use words that are very choice, but yet they understand that words hold power, but they're out here using words that are very powerful against people, and they should not be using them or using them to describe actions towards people and things of that nature that you shouldn't be saying about people, because words have power and we're all very aware of this. And if you're such a big powerful being, why are you saying this about these people? And I like, that's not your job. You are here, you're a mortal, you have flesh, you are here to learn, you're not here to dictate this shit. All right, let me be honest with you. You might do shit in the astral, that's different. But when you're here on the earth and you're into 3D and you got your flesh on, you can have an opinion, but you can't go around calling that shit down on people like that. Like, chill out. Especially if you if you on that high vibrational leader shit, you should not be like, you don't cast people down like that. The fuck? I don't care who you is, or like who who inhabits you, or like, I gotta keep it a buck, I gotta keep it a bean, you know? You can do the whole violence versus violence thing. I don't care. Like, do however you wanna, preach is how you're gonna preach, but don't be saying you want someone to die, or you're gonna, execute someone and then be like, oh, I'm a spiritual leader. Like, the fuck you mean you're a spiritual leader? Like, you're just giving people, like, come on, like, listen. I don't know. That just makes sense to me. I don't understand why these people, like, they know their words have power. They know how powerful they are, but yet they're using words to, like, fucking curse people. And you're a leader. You're a leader by choice. You chose to be a leader. You weren't. You were picked when you were. How do I put it? You're not chosen. You're qualified. That's who we're being on this realm. We're qualified. We're qualified for what? The lessons that we need to learn. We qualified for it. We signed up for the resume. We got chosen. We're qualified. We're here. That's what we're chosen. We chose to do it. So we qualified. We are here. Right? The terms that we use aren't necessarily the best. There's not a real, true, honest, good way to describe the system without having some sort of like contortion. Like, that needs to be worked on. I think, because it's like there's so much more to this. There's so much more um that goes on spiritually than you even know, because you have to remember, like, you don't experience, even in your life, everything that you're supposed to experience. Does and that includes spiritually? That includes in every which way and form. And you experience most of your life through other people. You understand that as well. A lot of your experiences spiritually, a lot of your experiences physically. However, a lot of your experiences in general come from other people. You're experiencing it through them. When you really see these things and you start looking at them in these ways, and shifting. And I will say this because it's necessary. When you're shifting your consciousness, it hits a phase where things get boring. It feels like you killed all the magic um in in your life. I will say, I'll be honest with you, I'll be transparent with you. And it's not that it's that's not because it's true, but it's because you're almost like, you got so used to how that last part was, and how like that felt, and this new energy, it like, you gotta like swim in it. You gotta put your whole body in the energy. um but that energy of like that fun, that spiritual enlightenment feeling, it's always there. There's just a need, like, to really just strive for it, because it's really is like, these little golden nuggets inside of you that you're just collecting. It's just every time you get closer and closer to your question, what you came here to learn, who you are, what your mission is, you, Operation You. Like, why, like, let's, like, not why you think you're here, why are you here? Spiritually, why are you here? And if you think you know off bat, I'm here to tell you, you might. I can't tell you that you don't, you know? I'm here to tell you you might, but is there anything, all I can do is say, is there anything else in there that you're missing, you know? Because we as humans, our ego and our brain and our free will, we will take something and we'll be like, I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur, so I'm supposed to be doing all these things. Maybe you're, maybe that entrepreneurship is supposed to be like a hot dog stand. You know what I mean? You like, that's the funny part about life, is really when you let go, the divine surprises you in weird ways. And it's nothing like, it's, you know, it's not going to be against your will. It's something that you signed up to do. It's something that your soul really wants to do, and it's really about just like cooperating with yourself, understanding that you wrote your whole story. Why, like, don't steer away from your story because you're unsure of how it's gonna go or where it's gonna like lead you down. And as well as like that goes with anything like business wise, changing like diets or anything. Like, if you need to change something for you, change it. Don't let people make you feel weird about it. Don't, people can project, people will project on you all the time, and it doesn't matter. It's weird. And there might be some people who are experiencing just some backlash of like people being really snooty towards them, um or like just not liking how spiritual you are. Ignore those people. It's definitely giving like a spiritual retreat energy. It really is giving like a spiritual retreat energy, or just a need to really just like zone out for like a day and just acclimate. Just, you know what I mean? Just really like transfer all the energy in and away, in and out of you. Just like really cycle through, because there's like, not that there's anything stagnant that I'm feeling. There's, I mean, there definitely could be, but it's more of like there's an old way of thinking, and this old way of thinking is like, this isn't gonna work, or this isn't gonna, you know, I can't do this when you're doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing. These thoughts of, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. There's some sort of like boundary that's about to break for that as well, that's coming through. But there's a need to look into it a little deeper. um what is that channel called? Let me look at this real quick. Let me look for this. There's a channel that I use a lot for meditations, and I have had a lot, and I mean a lot of positive experiences. It's called Blended Insight, though. I just recommend using Blended Insight for like their meditations and stuff. They have very good ones. They're like not too long, but they've done a lot of work that wasn't necessarily aware of until recent, because it's all about planting these seeds that you like allow yourself to nurture naturally instead of focusing on nurturing. um but there's just so much, I don't know, man. I feel like that's just all. It's just like no one's like, because I don't know. It's just something that I'm planning out, but while I'm planning it, I'm also doing it because I'm really like, more people need to use spiritual platforms for like a deeper spiritual fucking like, dude, we're healers, we're teachers. You know? What the fuck are who what are we teaching? Like some people might be teaching people how to read tarot, sure, but like what spiritually are we teaching? Like what's going on? Like I don't know. I don't know. I always think like that because it's one of those things where like we have a lot of like readers already. We're good. Like we need like educators. We need people who know knowledge. And it's not saying that like you need to tell them all the secrets, but like lead people down the path of enlightenment because a lot of people the people that want it are there. The ones that are needing to be enlightened are showing up, but if there's a lack of people that are doing it, we're stuck like collecting bits and pieces of puzzles at this point. And then everyone like all the platforms are shutting people down that try and talk about it as well. So it's like that's like a reason as well. But it's just like these I don't know, it's like a weird like facade that I've been like kind of been seeing about like the online spiritual community, and I don't know if it's just because of like an internet thing where it's just like the internet kind of like coating whatever it touches in that energy that it has or what, but I've just noticed like and it's not and again it's nothing saying anything bad again, like I don't do that, but it's just something about like the roots are missing and we need to get back to the roots. Like our origins are more than any sort of like spell work that's done against you, especially if done by another person. Because let me tell you, being on this planet, from the day you were born, from the day before you even conceived, someone had like you, had like your information. Like it's just how it is. That this realm is like that. It's high security. It's a high like it's in need of help, of really bad help, because the inhabitants of this planet are not doing good at all. Like it's not a very like caught up planet. Yeah, it's still like a like a low vibing planet. But again, it's like it has all the resources that we need and what anyone any planet needs. We have um these transfers from other planets that we trade our resources with them. That's why we don't use all of our resources. We can't just like what I mean? Like we and that's why we need to step like into our own power again and really step back into our roots, because it's like these trading routes that we have that we used to have, the way they were ran before, it was different. Why the fuck do we need like a space army? You know what I mean? Like what's going on that we need a space army? What have we done? What have we done? Are you understand the implications of that? And then CERN fucking opening up their last portal, trying to do stuff in the fourth dimension. They popped something from the fourth dimension using their fucking portal last time they opened it. Like let's like it's less about connecting the dots and just looking at the picture and being like we like as people on this realm really need to step up with our spiritual powers and gifts, because it's like we're not going to be able to get much of anything. It's like crystals included and like copper. I don't know, dude, because there's just so much like because I don't know, man. It's just like there's this energy of just something's gonna be made like present, like something's gonna be made known here soon. Just like, and I feel like it's gonna just be like a global thing where something's really just gonna click, and it's more of like how easy energy actually is to access. And it's not in the sense of like a spiritual means, but energy in the sense of like a means for this planet's ways of funding itself, and just operating and moving. Like there's like a need to really starting to tune into you and how you use energy and how you produce energy. We're all these beings that we're just transmuters, we're always transmuting this energy. How are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your energy? Where is it being transmuted to? How are you using this transmutation of it, of like um to like transform things around you? Like where's your intent going? And these like mindsets that are needing to be thought about more and like really honed in and focused on are in a are in a more like almost in a way to wake you up even more, in a sense. Is how it's coming, because it's like there's an understanding, but then you need the importance, and it's like you understand the importance and you understand all these things, but the divine wants to make you feel the importance of why these things are needing to happen, feel the importance of why um certain things are playing out the way they're playing out. Not letting your thoughts or your ego be like, well, that's not fair and this isn't right and yada yada this, yada yada that. But seeing things in this higher like spiritual way of being like, you know what? No, like there is something going on. Like it's like you can't turn a blind eye on these things, and it's not. And again, it's not even saying like identify things as being good and bad, but really look at what's going on and pay attention to like what you're seeing, remembering that everything that you see and everything that grabs your attention is meant for you. That's literally how this whole simulation works. That's just how this realm is. If something sticks out to you, it's for you. Don't ignore it. Don't brush it off. Don't be like, oh, whatever. Don't try and act like you're on this higher path of knowing. You're not. Let me tell you, the smart guy will outsmart himself 10 times out of 10. Always and forever. Story goes the same way. Has been since the start of time. You really gotta like sit down and be honest with yourself and see things for how they are. See yourself for who you are. See others for how they are. There's like a need to really get your energy back. And you've got your energy, how I'm hearing it is you've got your energy back from a person, but can you take your energy back from yourself? And in that sense of yourself, I was even hearing the world. And it's just, can you take back the energy that you've stolen from yourself from saying you can't do something, or from these curses of feeling like you're unable to do something, or the words that you've spoken over your life or spoken to yourself, these curses that you put over yourself, or can you take your energy back from that? That's like, this is this next move, because anyone can overthrow anyone. It's not it's not a hard thing to do to overthrow someone else, but what's hard to do is to overthrow yourself and still be standing. And there's like a need to understand that this external test that you went through of like, okay, I got over this situation and I'm spiritually strong and I'm spiritually protected and all these things. You are, yes. But is that what you're gonna run with? Is now that you know that you're protected, you're just gonna run off and just do whatever? You're on this spiritual mission, but now what are you doing? You're not looking for the next step. Like, I'm not saying you, but you know how I am. Some people aren't looking for that next step. They just, oh, ha, look, I'm protected and my ex is getting fucked over. You're not spiritual. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're here saying that you're spiritual. You're not. If you're over here just watching shit because your karmic ex is that, like, listen, you're missing the piece of, like, it's you that you're trying to, like, get information on, not that other person. It's you. You got to understand these things. And and it's not like, again, I don't know, I always have to, I always like to say it's not me being mean, because I understand how I'm saying things are a little not the most light-hearted way of saying it, but, like, you can't, I mean, there's not an effective way other than to say it like that, because it's one of those things where people will really just, like, unless they have something that, like, attaches to them, which is how we work in this realm apparently now. Like, you won't take anything. Like, advice is always advice, whether you want to take the advice for being good or bad. Advice is always advice. It's given to you because the divine has placed it on someone. Now, whether that person has used that energy to insult the fuck out of you or to actually give you criticism that's going to support and help you grow is up to how that person uses it. But everything is told to you for a reason. Do not just be like, oh, well, they're just saying that because they're mad. Something in their anger is a message from the divine that was just not translated the best way, you know? So understand these things. It has nothing to do, like, listen, I'm going to tell you, why do you think so many people tell you, like, use your discernment? It's felt, not heard. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. All of these things for a reason. And it's like, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. You know what doesn't apply to hearing messages? I don't like the way that person looks. Why are they doing that? Like, why does this person. Those things right there don't apply to a message. Let them fly. What applies to the message is you, because if you didn't apply to a message, you wouldn't be on the message. You know what I mean? So, just like, I don't know, there's like a deeper understanding that I'm excited for. Like, collectively, we're gonna get things, and it's not in the sense of, like, changing who you are, but just allowing you to see things from a point of view that goes, oh, you know what, I can see that, and then allowing that to just morph with you, like transmute with you, and allow, like, these new learnings, these new identities with yourself. And it's not like jumping from one to another and being like, I'm this now. It's creating your own. Um, and it's like, I don't know. I've noticed that a lot recently, actually. A lot of people even talk about it, but, like, recently, I've noticed a lot of, like, people doing things so that people aren't talking about appearances. I've been listen. When I listen, I'm telling you, when I go hermit mode, I don't. I go hermit differently than people. I swear, it's something. I I don't watch videos. I don't, like, consume much media. I'll just scroll and look at the titles and look at what people are doing for videos, and I'll just sit and think, like, what's going on with this. I don't know. I love, like, when I'm in a deep hermit mode, I'll sit and, like, break everything down just like that. And it's not even in the sense to understand it, but just to see, like, what's going on. But a lot of people have been like, it's all about, like, appearances and feeling safe. That's like this big, like, energy wave that's been coming on. Is everyone wants to, like, feel safe, and then in, like, some videos, people are, like, hiding their face more. Some people aren't using, like, face cams. There's been a lot of focus on the hands other than the face, and it's really just been showing me and telling me that there's a need to focus less on, like, what things look like, and focus more on, like, why you're actually doing these things. um I don't know, just really being aware of, like, everything being a sign for you. You are a duality, you are two. And just, like, I don't know, it's like you, it's like, like, I don't know, because I'll always I mean, I always say I always, let me tell you that real quick. No, but um something I do a lot I'll switch up the phrase for a second. We'll switch it up. Something I do a lot um, is these old lessons that I learn. I'll repeat them to myself at random points in time, and I'll just be sitting down and I go, you know what? They're a reflection of me, and will be spawned up out of like just by the divine putting it on me. Like I'll be messaging someone, and I won't have an opinion about how they're talking to me. It's just neutral. I'm just talking, and I'll just sit and I'll go, you know what? They're a reflection of me. They are literally the same person as me. There's no difference between us. I'm literally like that's like, and I'll just go on with and I'll let that like simmer in, and I'll go on with my day, and I'll do that with like all sorts of shit. I'll do it with like just with all the lessons that I learned. Like I just repeat them through my head, and it's this energy of being the student permanently and applying these lessons that you learn to everything around you. Just staying in a permanent student mode, and that allows you to like learn and teach yourself and to teach and reprogram yourself so you're able to like teach other people things. And like when you make a decision, instead of, oh, I shouldn't have made this decision, I made a bad decision, like thinking like I made this decision, I feel like I regret this making this decision, but do I regret this decision because of something my soul's telling me, or because I wanted this other thing as well? Like, just I don't know, like really understanding why you're doing, like why are you feeling these ways? Why are these emotions? Why do these feelings come on so heavy? What are they telling you? We've been told and forced to just believe that emotions are nothing, and that our feelings are just like not necessary. Like I don't know, man. That's the one thing you can't take away. Well, I mean you can, but you have to have internal injuries for that. Like your feeling, your senses. When you pick up on energy, when you're picking up on how things make you feel, like these gifts that we have to be able to feel these emotions and letting feel these feelings. I mean, and allowing our feelings to guide us through and to guide our thoughts. Like that's a gift on its own. And what what people don't realize is like the the big spell that we're under is keeping us in fear. And that fear energy makes us all manifest at the same rate, like the same like negative low vibration. So just understand like that the enemy that you think is out like getting you, or like your ex, or this cult coven situation that is attacking you and affecting your life in one way, that same cult coven is the same cult coven that's attacking everyone else on this god green planet, because it all roots from one. It all has the one major one that comes from the archons. We'll talk about them at some point. Um, but like just understanding that like it's, yes, it's a personal issue, but now it's time to start getting into more of a collective energy. It's like you've been focusing on yourself, you've been doing these things for yourself, and now it's time to focus collectively. What's going on in the collective now that is reflecting the emotions that I'm trying to heal from? Why? And it's not again to like shame anyone, but see for yourself what you personally need to do to make changes in your life and not change someone else's life. If you feel like you're doing fine, you're doing fine. If you need to make a switch or a change, make that switch and change at your own pace. But it is time to drop so you're able to gain more, and vice versa. But regardless, it's definitely, it's not to make you feel like you're running out of time or feel bad. It's a reminder. because it's like you've been, I'll do it now, I'll do it now, or I'll do this, I'll do that, and it's like, well, listen, you've been saying that for the past however long, and now you're building up this stress because you're not doing this. You need to just go ahead and do the things that you need to do, and it's like you have a task to do, and you're avoiding the main task by doing all the smaller tasks around it first. The divine just wants you to go ahead and worry about the big thing that you need to worry about because you're stressing yourself out. There's like this stress energy, and it's like, oh, I can't do it because I don't want to because like I don't know. I'm supposed to be on break anyway, and the divine's like, listen, you've been on break. You need to get back to work. It's not all of you, of course. The ones that have been feeling this energy, like you need to get back to work. um Collective work. What are you needing to do externally? What are the things externally that need to happen now? You've done a lot of internal work, so don't forget to do the external work with this pattern. Figure this pattern out for yourself. This is your cycle. And it operates with the moons every time, like, from full moon to new moon. It operates that way in that cycle. Find out what what moon cycle you feel more like working and what days you feel more like relaxing. Get your schedule figured out. We work off these things called like days and hours when they're all calculated by the planets. So why the fuck are we worried about what we're describing them and not worried about what the planet's doing? Like, let's get, like, you know what I mean? Like, can we start doing this? Like, I don't know. It's like, oh, I feel like working, I'll do my work at 1:30. Well, it's 1:30 according to your time, but you're just not aligned with what you want to do right now. You wait a few more hours and you'll be aligned. So why are you using the time, the digits that they have us using? Why are they forcing that upon us when it's based off of the planets? Like, just let the planets, like, figure out how you work with them, because they're sending you your routine, they're sending you your schedule, but you're not listening to it. And it could be like, if just, oh, planets don't do that to us. No, they do. And people that say that they don't have never even, well, I don't know if they. I don't even know. Do they think like water's different because it's inside of a container or something? I don't know. People forget that we're made up of water and that the moon controls the water. Do you guys remember being taught that? Like the moon controlling the tidal waves and shit? I remember being taught that in school. I don't know why people just kind of assume that because we're made of water, the moon just doesn't affect us. I mean, I want to know why my third grade teacher even told me, yeah, the moon cycles can affect your emotions. I want to know why I was told those things. Let me tell you a thing or two. Is because the planets fucking control everything that we do. They're the rulers of this planet. Do you really like hello? Like, everything that we know is to teach us. That's why we're conscious now. We don't have past memories for a reason. We're conscious now to learn these things now. And it's not to learn them to be like, oh, cool, nice, funny stories. They're to allow us to see what's going on so that we can not be so stressed out. That's like the big kicker. The 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 year of Aquarius, the age of knowing, understanding what the world really is, understanding what like how planets really operate, knowing who we are, what we're doing here, those things right there. And then understanding that like the only reason we're under so much stress is because human man wants to feel like it has to control everything, and that's throwing everything out of whack because God forbid we have fucking power. And I don't understand. Like, it's because then, like, they made money, they printed fucking money, and it's all the same paper, and we just give it a different number, and then we go, oh, this is a $1 bill, and that's a $20 bill, and the only difference is like the color, barely even, but the color. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Like, why are we like? I don't know. And everyone knows these things. This is nothing new, right? This is nothing new at all. But it's like, like there's a deeper reason for why things are happening, and it's time to elevate to a high enough frequency to fix that. Not to fix that, but to help put these pieces together, because it's not just us. Our ancestors didn't just go through trauma. Our ancestors were doing the same thing that we're doing. The ancestors were pushing questions. The star seekers, the gypsies, the ones walking out at night and looking at the stars and following nature and allowing nature to guide. Like those are our ancestors. That's what our ancestors did. And like we are continuing that. We're solving these cases with these ascended masters that reincarnate. They're waiting on information to come out so that they're sparked up and able to like activate. Like these things are happening at such a beautiful and like rapid pace, but this energy of just it's this energy of almost like it is a fear, and it's this fear of, well, how are we going to survive without all of these things? And you just have to remember we've done it before. I don't know why it's so scary. We've grown so attached to the material realm. It's fucking bizarre. Do you think you're like, I'm not like, this is just strictly humor, but do you think your ancestors are really worried about what time they're going to get to the doctor's appointment? When was the sundial invented? Things of that nature. Like, look at when things really started becoming like a time based thing. Where days, like, we don't. Like, there's a lot of information that we need to kind of focus on and realize that asking questions isn't like a bad thing. People want you to feel like asking questions is like a oh, you're stupid for asking that question, or like, oh, you should know the answer to that. But no, just start asking questions, looking up the don't look up definitions of things, look up the etymology of words. If you want to look for like information on a word, look at images that represent that word. Images speak more than anything that anyone could type. That's this whole thing with words. Words literally like they do this weird fucking thing. They put this weird spell of like degradation. I don't know what the fuck a word is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what kind of like weird cursed text shit is. You know? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it would classify it. Like, I don't know what enchantment or like or what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? But it has this film where it will just like whatever you describe with the word just loses its value. You know what I mean? Like it loses the full energy, the full spectrum of what you're feeling. If you say you're feeling happy, your brain changes how you feel to what you know now as happy because you said that you're happy. It's fucking like it's awful, dude. It's what the fuck is going on? Like they like it's bizarre. It's so not cool. It's just not okay. Anyway, um but don't use words to like don't let words describe or make you feel a certain way. That's like the first major like boundary to do. Like don't allow people to put these spells of like, oh, doing something or asking questions is like a bad thing or stupid or whatever. That's a lie. That's a dangerous fucking curse to keep you ignorant, and in the sense where you're not like where you're wanting to actually go out and get information, and they're saying, oh yeah, don't ask questions, it makes you look a certain way. That's a weapon right there. That's strike number one. Like just leave at that point, because yes, we're seekers, but we're here to help each other. We're here to help each other seek. There's not like I mean, I understand, like, you're not, not everyone's in charge of everyone, and it's not everyone's job to, like, help everyone learn these things. But we need to start sharing resources more and really stop keeping things so esoteric. Um, and of course, because it's like we're entering this age where we're able to use our discernment more. You know what I mean? And those that are in this teacher leader role know for a fact what they can and cannot talk about. Uh, and it's not in the sense of like getting your channel struck down, but it's more of just knowing what people need to know or what they really want to know. Like someone's gonna ask, "Oh, how do I summon these entities?" I want to summon these entities, and they don't want to know how to summon them. They actually just want to understand like the process of like why you would summon an entity. You know what I mean? Like those things like that. Like there's a need for the teachers, the educators, the readers, the healers, the shamans, the magicians, the wizards, the wizardresses, how whoever you are out there in the world. It's time for you to really start stepping into this energy and remembering that these people that come to you, they don't necessarily know what they want either. You need to use your gifts to find out what these people want. Um, and it's because we're not used to this way of healing anymore. We're not used to this way of being. We want to know what other people are doing to help us heal from things, and we never needed to do that. You know what I mean? That's a trait that we've learned over the years, and we're unlearning that. So do do the part, do what you need to do, but also don't forget to plant the seeds that need to be planted. And doing it at your own pace, of course. Always. I'm not telling no one to do how to do their job, but like, just keep planting the seeds that you need to plant because these warfares that are going on, these curses that are breaking, not only collectively and personally, but globally as well. Like everything's just like it's you can almost see it falling and how it's going. Um, and it's something about just how God, like almost how everything has to be shown to you. And by shown to you, I mean shown to everyone, like on a global scale. It's like that's why these world events are getting worse and worse and worse. It's like things are just gonna like it's gonna be shown to people. It's like it's gonna be this way until like we get to a point of like wanting to change. So the ones that us, the ones we keep the ones that are like pushing for this change, we need to just like keep paving. Oh, where goes my phone? We need to keep paving the way forward. And it's not to say that the road hasn't already been paved, but we need to be able to walk that road of like this higher education, of this higher knowing, of these higher not assumptions, but these higher like connection to the divine, of really trusting the divine to lead us, because we need to be in these positions of not only just speaking over people's lives and helping them in that sense, but really living the lives that we speak of. Um, because like it's a lot of trust that needs to be built back up, and that's why we're here on these missions. We're not here, and that's something that we kind of have to learn. Like it's and everyone has their time, but when you are called into this world of spirituality, whether it's through tarot or however, it's not about it's like we're solving this smaller problem, and it's to prove to you that the divine's real, and this small problem is solved, and they grace you with this, like, oh, we'll save you. You said you're gonna help us with this. You said you're gonna be with us. Okay, good, awesome. We'll help you with this. Now we need you to help us. And like that's what this is. That's why you're on this journey. What does the divine need you to help them with? They tell you all this information about yourself. They reveal to you all these truths, all these secrets that have been hidden from you. And it's like, it's such a beautiful thing to know that this source is out there, like, hey, listen, I seen all that go down. I got you. Just as you observe it, you know, from your own point of view, you have these beings that are seeing it from higher elevations, which is why you tap into them, so you're able to just see what's going on. But like, you need to show people, because some people, it's, I don't know, some people really do need to see something on the physical change to really trust, and that's perfectly fine because we're all on different levels, on different learning paths, and some people are you know, their trust is more is damaged, and they're more unsure of how to fix it than others. It's these things that we have to be more aware of, and especially if you're a spiritual teacher. I've been getting this heavy too, because I've been seeing so many new people. If you are, whatever you're doing, whether it's tarot, teaching someone, keep in mind that you are what people are going to consider an expert, um in the sense of not of how much you know, but in the sense of like, you're the shaman, you're the healer they're going to be going to for this information. So it's not a, don't stress out about finding information. The divine will lead you to what you need to know, but at the same time, when you start learning information, don't feel like you know more than someone that comes towards you. Allow every conversation to be as pure as it needs to be. Um, like, if you're learning about, like, I don't know, let me just say something stupid real quick. Let's say you're learning about triangles, right? Because you already learned about circles, and Billy knows about fucking squares, triangles and circles, right? So you go to Billy and you ask Billy to teach you about triangles, and he teaches you about triangles, but then he throws in a fact about a circle that you didn't know. Like, don't allow someone coming to you for help let you, like, not know. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we're trying to break. These things that happen on the outside of it, like going to the doctor's office and telling the doctor, "Oh, hey, I'm experiencing these symptoms," and they're like, "Oh, wow, that's weird. That's not listed anywhere at all," and they take note of it. Like, you have, like, you need to understand that there's people that are going through all sorts of things, and they happen differently. And to be an actual healer, a shaman, and actually be someone in that stature and the energy, you have to take everything into consideration. You have to be the one. You are the tool. You know how to use the energy, the forces around you to really dictate and decipher through these things. And you really need to be careful with like what you're doing. Um and being careful about, like, thinking that you know more than someone else as well. Like, again, like, that's just a rule of thumb for anyone, you know, really. So you know, but like, regardless, like, don't look at numbers, don't look at the 3D at all for any type of, like, decision making. Dude, I'm telling you, people will overlook shit because it's like, oh, it doesn't have enough views or likes or whatever. Who cares? Like, the divine's showing it to you for a reason. You gotta just sit down and listen to it. Well, you don't have to. That's free will. You don't have to sit. You don't have to do anything. Free will. Um, but if you give it the time of day that the divine sends you to, you're gonna find something that's for you always. Um, but again, just like, enjoy yourself. Just have fun. There's just this energy of, like, I don't know. It's just, I have to say it. I really think that Earth is the one fucking planet, er, that is, like, the only fucking ball of energy that's not dancing in harmony. Everything in this universe is like dancing and like having fun and spinning around and connecting. And then we're here stressing the fuck out and ripped apart and shredded and we can't connect and every day it's an argument. You know what I mean? Like look at these things and and see them as what's so inharmonious. Like why here? What is Earth really about? What is Earth personified as on this realm? Earth is mother. Earth is the nurturing. We are nurtured by Earth. Why can't we nurture ourselves? What's going on? What collectively what is going on with our heart chakras? Like why so many love attacks? Why like why do we not why do we but why does why did the heart get attacked? And it's yes on a global scale but us as well, like on a personal scale, because knowing the issue for the collective is one thing, like that's one thing, but you need to know why it was you, and that adds to the collective pool of like why did this happen. Oh, this happened because of this, and it needs a general answer, which is what we've been coming to. This is the healing journey. um it's like why we heal. The healing is the answer to the question. It's all a chemical reaction. That's all everything is at the end of the day. And this experiment, this like simulation of life is so beautiful, and you just really have to sit back and allow it to do its thing. um because there's a higher force, there's a higher power that sent you on this mission, that for why you're here, and for what you need to do. So just allow yourself to really embody that, and don't pay attention to anything on the 3D for a while. I'm talking about like numbers and stats and shit, because those are gonna be weird for 2 weeks. For like I feel like 2 weeks. I guess I didn't mean to come up and say it like that. Okay, but anyway, it might be 2 weeks. It's like it feels like this like technology is gonna be wonky for a while. I just feel like I don't know. There's a lot of energy, and it's all in the legs, and it's all about like this forward moving or like jumping energy. It could also just be like a trauma storage being dumped as well. But there's a lot of growing, there's a lot of growth that's happening. And there's a need to just remember like I don't know. It's like the best way I can describe it is to remember that you are a god. And if you look around your 3D life and you say a god wouldn't be living like this, remind yourself that everything you see is not as it seems. It's how you're feeling about yourself. Why, like, you know what I mean? You've created these high crazy stories of how gods live and how gods are supposed to be and where a god would be, and like no one would ever attack a god, like why would they do that and things of the nature. You got to realize that like it's it's all there showing you in different story formats like what life is going to be like and how to maneuver through it. But you just need to keep that childlike wonder, you need to keep it alive, um and not allow it to be drained or like nostalgia trapped. um but there's so much like I don't know. I feel like that's everything I needed to talk about. We're gonna talk about different spells tomorrow. We're just gonna like jab on and see what I need to talk on. Um I don't have any resources or like books to really talk about for this, but for the way I'm gonna do these ones, I'm gonna just like show you different books, um, or um, like different sources you can look up and do resources on, and like things you can, and like keywords and stuff, just to help you understand things more and make like connections, because like I don't know. It's just important. It's so important, and it's like I don't know. It's like part of the spiritual. I don't know. I just get so like confused and like dog dog energy where I'm like all over the place because I don't get it. How you're on the spiritual journey, you're learning and growing and evolving, but you're not learning. Why are you like? Why don't you want to learn and to grow and evolve, but you want to be spiritual? What? Nah, you gotta sacrifice something. That's the rules. Them's the rules. You have to sacrifice something in order to get anything. Like you have to. And what do you sacrifice most of? Energy. Ta-da. Anyway, it's like I don't know. I don't get it. It makes me feel so weird because it's like, are you really spiritual then, or are you in it for like an ego thing? Cause that's like you gotta weed them out. You have to like be careful because some people just get into spirituality for like an ego. It's the same thing with magic. Some people are called into magic, and other people use magic for like, oh, I'm gonna do this for myself, or I want to look this way. It's like, what the fuck's okay, cool. Some people are like born to do this shit. You just did it because you thought it would make yourself look cooler. Like I don't know. Anyway, just that's why it's so important to know who you are, because instead of basing it off of something like that, you could actually know like why you're called to it, you know. It's like I don't know, these things are just so important of knowing who you are. Get to know who you are, and it's even like with animals. I don't know who started this thing. I'm going to talk about it. I don't know who the fuck started this thing where people are like, you can only have one spirit animal. Like, what the fuck do you mean you can only have one spirit animal? Are you telling me those totems, the reason they have four spirit animals, and I know what they stand for? Um, I had went to like a Cherokee like Indian like camp when I was younger, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot of their traditions. Um, I even did a few rain dances. It's really cool. Anyway, getting on topic, but like, you know what I mean? I forgot where I was even going with that. I went completely off topic. Oops. No, but just like it's so important just to know who you are, because just like spirit animals. Thank you. Right. Yeah. So, like, you can answer so many questions about who you are by yourself. Like the animals that you feel resonant with, the animals that you see the most are your spirit animals. You can have more than one. There are multiple like you. I don't know why we're in this energy of feeling like we can only have one of anything. Like you see what's going on with this like monotheism. One God, one self, one nation. What the fuck are you talking about? There's four nations, and they're called the four elements, also known as the four directions. The fuck did the Masons even know this dumb shit? Hello, like, like, I don't know, like, like why are we becoming so monotheism when we know that there's more than one? Like we're stop. Like it's getting weird. It's getting weird. And it's not in like a haha funny thing. I just can't help but to laugh because it's like it's like it's a serious thing, of course, yeah, but like when you step into the realm of understanding like what the fuck is going on, like this weird tug of war game that you have just placed me in for no fucking reason, I'm now a part of it. Let me just take a step back and realize you're telling me that there's four, but there's only one. I can only have one. But there's four parts that make up that one, but I can only have one, right? So what do I do? Like what the fuck are you, like it's I don't know. It's like you can't have one without having the other three. That's not how the elements work. That's not how it works on this realm. They're compound together. They coexist. Everything is in within one. You know, it's like, but it's like they just have these weird raps on us, bro. It's weird. I just love talking about it, and it makes me like almost laugh because, and it's not laughing at anyone or anything bad, but it's like, what the like, damn. Like they really got us, huh? And I'm like, that's just my personality. I don't care how long I could reincarnate for the next like 38 eons, and I could rediscover this information, and I'd probably still say, damn, they got us fucked up. Like that'd just be my response. That's just how it is, you know? Like I guess that's just the catchphrase I got for that, you know? But they like, I don't know, it's like it's kind of comical, but it's scary how comical it is because it's like they didn't really have to do that much. We're doing most of the work. A lot of humanity does most of the work for like segregation and separation. Some things just happen and we fucking rip each other to shreds for it, and it's not even like, it's just awful. Like it's like, I don't know, man. We got brothers and sisters ripping each other apart. We got people we got people trying to say everything is satanic, and then we have the people who are so supposedly satanic, who are probably more atheistic than fucking anything, and they're just satanic because they want to piss off someone that believes in the Christian God for some reason. Um, it's like they want to go off and say that occultism is all about Luciferianism, which is not even a real like, not even a fact. It's like all these things are happening, and it's not even like part of like a plan to tear something down. This is just a domino effect that we're living through of people like, oh, I hate this, so I'm gonna go and be as offensive as I can towards it. It's just these weird fucking things. Like, why are people doing this? And don't get caught up in energies like that either. Like, if you see someone doing that, just like don't be with them. Don't give your energy to these like to these like places and things and visuals and audios that don't please your soul. And you have to just erase like what people think. Who gives a fuck if you listen to the same song all day long? Like just do what your soul calls for, because literally it might not make sense to you, but it doesn't need to. It's not for you to try and calculate. It's what your soul wanted to experience. Fuck, your soul wanted to experience it again, so it had it created again in this lifetime. It's like, yeah, I'll go back to Earth, but I want this. Okay, boom, it's done. You go back just for that. You do it all the time. You go back to a restaurant and you order the one thing that they're not even known for because you like it more. You know what I mean? Like the soul does the same thing. The divine does the same thing. Understand how comical this the journey is at some point, please. Do not be in this energy of fear. Allow yourself. Now, understand it's a serious thing, but the divine needs more lightheartedness. I've even noticed this, dude. I have been getting so many signs from the divine recently, but they've all been goofy as fuck. The last sign I got was a gif of Anubis dancing, and I couldn't stop staring at it. I was just stuck and mesmerized, and I was like, why did you send me this? Anyway, like, humor. We need to bring back the smiles. Like, listen, we made it through the storm. We're done fighting. We're not fighting this side of ourselves. We're not fighting the truth inside of us. We have to just learn to enjoy and smile and have fun again. And it doesn't matter if you're doing it by yourself. It doesn't matter if you're doing it like in the shower. Just have this expression of joy, the internal work, that dark night of the soul, that rebirth. is that pain, that energy shift that you've just gone through, that we've gone through. A lot of people have gone through it. That's coming out of these spells. That's breaking out and breaking into new characters and gaining new energy and new just it's just so much like beauty. And not a lot of people want to hear about this. A lot of people want to just like, man, what was that, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory? I don't know. I just there's like this energy of like, well, give me this. I want this. I deserve this, and they're snatching it from the divine. It's like, well, you can have it. I wasn't gonna hold it from you anyway, but it's like I don't know. Humble yourself. Be humble. I don't know, man. So many people like I'll tell you, dude. I'm I am a solid air sign. I am Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. You want to talk about getting serious? I'll get serious with you real quick. You know, I will get like I know how serious this journey is. You know, there's a lot that I don't talk um about the personal journey and things of that nature for reasons. It's like there's a need to not be so struck on how serious things are because it is a serious thing. Let me tell you, it's you experience that shit. It's crazy. It's wild. You need time to like actualize it and sit down and relax with it. But don't hold on to this energy of, oh, this whole journey's cursed and I just can't go on anymore. The test actually ends a lot sooner than you realize, but it's that growth that you need to have to realize it. And it's like looking back and seeing, oh shit, I see when that lesson ended, and I see how I kept putting myself back into that lesson, and I see what I was doing. And if you can't get to a point to where you can say that you see what you did, there needs to be work on that. There's guilt consciousness that's attached to everything. It's like you can't even say that you went to the store without feeling like guilty or stressed out about not remembering the name of the store. Why are you putting so much pressure on saying that you did something? If you did something, that's perfectly fine. You might have been unaware of what you did, but you did something. It's okay. Like it's like these honesties that you gotta be real with yourself with. It's like the ones that really are gonna shoot up and be on this spiritual path, you know, and elevating further down it. We're realizing these things, we're seeing it, and it's like it doesn't matter because I'm not doing this for like I don't know. It's just like I don't care if even one person gets gets the full message from these things, or like if even just one person really understands like the mission of finding yourself and really getting to yourself. I'm I'm just doing what the divine has me here to do, and it's one of those things where on this spiritual journey you have to remember like even if you just want to label someone as like a reader or something, it's like the connection that that person has with the divine is like different than how you would think it is. And like even if they just tell the same message every day, there's something about the divine that's allowing that to happen. There's such a bigger plan that's like around, but you need to participate in it and you need to take your role. And part of that role of being in in these divine places is having this higher knowledge. Of course, come as you are and learn at your own pace, of course. And if you refuse to want to learn, that's fine too. But it's just one of those things of like the spiritual journey is really like, you gotta understand that the fears of yourself are only present because of the spiritual journey you're on. Like, you're only feeling these extra fears because you're seeing them for as they are. And it's I don't know. It's a certain point of like understanding that really just like allows you to relax almost and like smile about it. But it's just this energy of how pure it is. I don't know. Just really pay attention to the signs around you, though, is what I'm getting. The divines cut me off. I don't know where what was like, how far I was gonna go down with that, but regardless, I feel like each of the things that the divine just needs to spread is just like the awakening, not the awakening, but the waking of those who are really gonna take this path serious, and really heal and evolve and not make excuses for like, oh, but someone's doing that, like we can't do that. Notice these cycles. We did these same excuses as children when we were put on this plane as children, and we were stealing each other's like toys and stuff, and how we would like tell on people and stuff for that. We can't. We used to do that, and we grew out of doing that. We did that again at the start of our spiritual journey. We're stopping that now. It's like these things we're realizing that the journey is less about how much power you have, but just who you are and real. Just I don't know, just waking other people up because we need to have this collective like realization. Um, because there is a consciousness shift that needs that will not. It's not the fact that it needs and it's dire, but it needs to happen and it's happening. So if you're wanting this change to happen, it's not about working on the physical, it's about working on the internal. But regardless, that's the message that I have for this. Like I said, like next time we're going to talk about spells, and we'll try and keep more on board. I don't know. It's intuitive messages. They take me all over the place. Regardless, thank you so much for everything. Remember that you can go to Spirit Otter and use the link in the description. And if you use code Sublunar20, you can get 20% off of your or off your order. If you want a reading, um, or any other services that I offer, you can use the links in the description as well. You can email me or use the Google. What the fuck is it called? I can never remember this. I always struggle with this. What is it called? The Google form, Google sheet, whatever it's called. Excuse me. Um, if you want to be part of the Google chat that we have to connect with people, you can also email me about that as well. Regardless, thank you all so much for everything: the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, donations, energetically or financially. It doesn't matter. I appreciate all of them, to the world, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. But I love you all so much, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. And I will see you later.